Hi, friends. It's Alison, MetalBabe Cohen. Thank you so much for supporting MBM Music and MetalBabe Mayhem. Please check out my interview with Ryche Green of NewMachine. Let's first off talk about how did you first form NewMachine? I think it was you and Lorenzo. So how did you first begin the band, and how did you find the other members?
Yeah, how that started was, Lorenzo and I played together in my other band called Modern Superstars. So Lorenzo and I had 5 or 6 years together under our belts. But when I moved to Florida, I was kind of thought, well, maybe I'll take a break from the original scene and touring scene, and we started just putting together. Music's so plentiful around here, places to play. You can play 7 nights a week, 3 times a day, if you're a good band around here. So I decided, well, maybe I'll just stay home, and I'm living in paradise, so I'll ride the Harley and stay home a little bit more. So I started kind of a tribute thing to the early 80s, which I involved Lorenzo in, and we were doing stuff, believe it or not, kind of like Duran Duran, Flock of Seagulls, Michael Jackson. We were doing the Fix, the Cure. We were doing that kind of stuff, and going over pretty good, and playing, and it just got to where I love doing that stuff, but it got to where it wasn't quite as fulfilling as recording and writing. And so we got called to go out and do a Modern Superstar run, of which the band had been together for probably about a year and a half, with Ashton as our singer, which is in NewMachine now. But long story short is, we put that band together. We put Modern Superstar back together for just a short period of time to go out and do this little run. And that's how I ran into Polo, and Tommy Williams had been in Modern before. So I put that together, and then that turned into, hey, we got some great songs laying around. Let's see what comes out of it. And that was how NewMachine started, and the NewMachine first record, which is entitled Karma, came out of those writings. And, so we just decided to do it. And we did a video, signed with Bill. The rest is history. Those guys are gone now. We just decided to regroup and kind of let everybody go. And we decided to regroup. Lorenzo stayed with me, and I got some new players and went back to the drawing board with Bill. And, so here we are now, the second half of NewMachine, I guess you could say.
So that's interesting. So Ashton was actually in the band, and then he wasn't in the band when you had the other singer, and then he just came back. Is that true?
Well, Ashton was in, myself, Lorenzo, and Ashton was in the last rendition of Modern Superstar. So that's how we knew Ashton. Ashton's the new singer of this rendition of NewMachine. So Ashton's actually the second singer of the band, and this is actually our second album.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to put the pieces together. Yeah, because right before the Florida gig, Bill had told me that it was actually Ashton's first gig. So how did that come about with you guys putting him into the band?
Well, you know what? When we put NewMachine together, Terry Hansen from New York was singing with us, and when we went into the recording process, we were doing some live shows, and what we were doing was we were doing the first NewMachine record. We really haven't had any new music so much to date. We worked on a couple songs, and when we got in the studio, and now we're doing a full length, and the pressure's on us, and it just became evident that it just wasn't going to work. So about 2 or 3 songs in, we just switched gears, and like as I said, Lorenzo and I had played with Ashton for quite some time. He'd been on Bill's label in another project, so he was the first one I called for the project in the first place, and he said, I'm going to do the work thing. And, I don't know if I really want to do music right now. So he was our first choice in NewMachine as it was. And it just wasn't the right time. 6 months later, I called him and he was just ready to dive in, and he was here 3 days later. So,
That's awesome. That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enters Ashton. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great, definitely. He's a great front man. And I was at that show, at the 80s in the park. I was there at the after party. It was packed. You guys were great.
Yeah, I
So
don't think we got to meet. I think
we
Lorenzo
didn't.
got to meet you though.
So let's talk about a live show. So for somebody who's not familiar, hasn't seen your band play, how would you describe your live show?
Energy. And lots of energy. I know if you said you saw us, I think you'll probably agree. We here's the thing. We got such veterans, and some of us in the band. AD comes. Our bass player comes from. He's been with Lou Graham for 5 or 6 years. So he does the big show. To the fullest, and I have a pretty good history, and Steve, our guitar player in his band, and of course Lorenzo. So I just think it's just a lot of energy, and we start off with a lot of energy, and we just we're fueled by energy. So our show is pretty intense. It's a good rocking show. It's a good time for everybody. We try to cater to everybody, in our songs and the performances.
I agree on the high energy part, definitely. So how would you describe your music, and what are your biggest influences?
Our music is AD and myself, in our past bands, and I don't know how much you know of that, but we've made our name in living, so to speak, or however you want to put it, in a lot of 80s bands, and I think everybody kind of expects that out of us, to be kind of that 80s, kind of thing. I know, we did 80s in the park. We get lumped up into that stuff, and I love that stuff. And our stuff definitely has an element of 80s, but I think we're more of kind of just a rock and roll band. I mean, there may be a little, trapped, which is kind of Steve's kind of, the year 2000s, and Steve writes a lot of our stuff. That's kind of his, his thing. And so I think we're just kind of a rock and roll band that we just good melodies with some good heavy drums and some cool guitar riffs. We got great backups. And, so I just I don't think I can lump us into one thing. It's just a good rock and roll band. We got some 70s flavor stuff, and we try to make everything into one song. We don't have like a 70s song and then our next song is 80s and our next song is 90s. We try to throw all that 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. We try to throw all that in, to each and every song. And that's what ties it in, I believe. So
That's awesome. Now you're working on a new album, right? Full Circle. Where are you guys at in the process of that?
it's done.
It's done. Oh, wow. Okay, so what's the plan?
Yep. It was finished. It was handed into Bill just yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the recording process has been done for a couple weeks now, but and then I believe today the drive shipped off to Ty Sims, which is going to master and mix it. The Recovery Room studios with Ty Sims. So yeah, I think everything is in the works. It's ready to be mixed and mastered. I think they said April 5th is when we're looking at a done date for that, and then it'll go straight to duplication. So we're probably looking at late May, early June for a release, I think Bill said.
Well, that's great. And then I did see on your Facebook, I think you had a demo clip of The Master of My Fate. Is that your first single?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's still undetermined, and I tell you how that came about. That was actually what we do is we get into the writing process. The guys, I'll come to Florida for a couple weeks. Steve is in Tennessee, Ashton's in Kentucky, and AD is in Rochester, is in New York. So Lorenzo and I are the only two that's Florida. So how that came about, I didn't even know Bill was going to release that. What we do is we write the songs, and then we take video of rehearsal, and then we send them to Bill, and then Bill will go, yeah, I like that one. Let's continue, because, he's in Baltimore, so he tries to stay hands-on. So we send him that just to go, hey, can we record it? And he's like, yeah, no problem. And then all of a sudden it showed up as our promo reel, It's
wow.
like, oh, no. Yeah, it's like we saw it the same time everybody else did. We didn't even know it was coming. But that is one. I believe that we're going to come out. We have 3 that's in the running. I believe Full Circle, which is a title track to the album, and then we have another one called The Key, and then I'm not sure what the other one's going to be. So right now we're 3 up in the running, and that will depend on Bill. Bill has a lot of say so in that, so I'm not real sure on that one, but I don't think we can go wrong with any ones that he wants to release. I stand behind all of them. So it should be interesting for me to find out as well.
Yeah.
You may know before I know.
Or it might just show up on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook will probably be the first to know.
Yeah, they'll tell us. So what is the writing process like? Like you said, since you and Lorenzo are in Florida, everyone else is spread out. So how does it work as far as when you write new material? What's that process like?
How we usually do it, I guess is pretty standard and norm for the day, or for today's time anyway. Our process is usually been Steve, which is our guitar player. Steve Cummings is our guitar player, and he writes a lot of the stuff, as far as, the riff, the main riff and stuff goes anyway. He'll usually come up with a riff, send us that riff along with 3 or 4 others, send it to everybody. We'll get in a group chat, or we'll get on the phone, and we'll go, let's proceed with this one and this one. And then he'll go back to the drawing board for about a week, send us in his mind, versions of complete songs, 3-4 minute songs, bridge, chorus, verse. So he'll send us that, and then we'll usually write all our own parts around that. And then everybody flies in, we get together. I'm kind of the arrangement guy. I'll cut a 5-minute song down to a 3.5-minute song. That's kind of my stamp on things. And then Ashton comes up with the melodies, usually while he's here in the studio. And we just get in and record it. The video that we just talked about, like master, we'll do it a couple times. Tomorrow we'll come back, we'll do it again. And of course it'll change a little bit. We'll do that for about 3 days. And then we'll listen to all of them back, and then we'll pick, well, we like this part in this part and this part, and then when we piece it together. Some of the songs, though, we just got together and started on a 20-second riff and just wrote the songs right in the studio. But for the most part, we pre-planned. One of the songs, AD's a big writer too, so one of the songs, is mostly AD's, and it's one that maybe he's had laying around, for a few years, and we'll just put our stamp on it and change it, but Steve and Ashton are big writers on this record anyway. So, but that's our process, because like I said, we spend 2 months apart, and we get together for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden the record has to be done. So, and the guys stay here. They stay a couple weeks away from home and kind of bounce around, and we hang out, and we literally sleep in the studio to get stuff done. I mean, if you've watched any of my go live stuff on on Facebook, I mean that's I'm not kidding around. I mean, we'll be in there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll stay until 4 or 5 in the morning, and then we'll get right back up and do it again, and pull cots in and sleep. Luckily for me, I'm the lucky guy that the studio is about 1 mile from my house.
Oh, wow. So you can go
so
home.
I'm the guy that gets to go home for the most part. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's intense. If they're all flying in, you're on a limited schedule and amount of time. So yeah, you got to use every minute you can.
Yeah, for sure. But it works out, and I think that process with us is what makes our stuff come out, the way that it does. If you take all that stuff, and put it together, I think it comes out, in the music, and we got some good stuff. So.
Okay, so question about the album title, Full Circle. So what does that mean to you? Because I always love the full circle idea. So for NewMachine and you guys as writers, lyrically, what does that mean?
Well, to make a long story short, the first album that we did with the other guys, with the just Lorenzo and I, was Karma, and so we did that, and then there was kind of a big falling out and disagreements and stuff, after the fact of the band was done, and then they found out that the band wasn't done. They were done. The name was mine. Record come out with Bill. So there were some spats back and forth, and we played a couple big shows, and they try they just tried to intervene on some stuff, and we're just sitting around and we're just kind of like, what could we come up with that's good, and that means something, not just something that we can throw out, saints and sinners and this and that, and it's what means something. And so Bill actually came up with that, and so that was kind of the first one being Karma, and now we came back, NewMachine, new guys, and we've just come full circle. Here we are, new record, and we just kept plugging on, and got some new guys that we believed in, and here we are. So that was kind of Bill's title. And then what we did was then we wrote Full Circle around that and said, hey, let's just do a title track. It'd be cool. Let's do a title track. We already had the music laying around. And, so we just let Ashton run with it. And it had no name even at that time. That could have been anything. And Bill just said, that's it. That's the title track. And that's how that came about, so you just got Karma, you got the Full Circle thing, and, everybody kind of gets what they get and what they deserve in the end. And, what comes around goes around type thing.
Awesome.
So a little bit of thought into it. Yeah.
Very cool. So you said the album will probably be out late May, June. I think that's what you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when that comes... Yeah, so when that comes out, have you guys talked about a video? Do you have any shows or tour? What's the plan once the album's released?
Yeah, you know what? We've been doing some shows here and there. We do have plans for a video. We're kind of planning that now, time-wise. It'll be a lot easier. Bill come up with, what the first song is going to be. 'Cause I believe that there's going to be a video release before the single. The video of the single will be released. Then we'll release the single. So there is a video that's, we're going to get together in the next couple weeks and start planning and shooting and all that good stuff. So yes on a video for sure. We do have a few shows coming up. I know we're going to be going out. I think Every Mother's Nightmare is going out in early May. I think we're going to go out and do just probably a 10, 12, 15-day run, late May, June. But, maybe just to support the release. But I do know we got something bigger coming up, and I believe that Every Mother's Nightmare, which is our label mates, as you probably know.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing something with them, but we are gonna be doing something for sure. And it's such a big, that's gonna be the release. You got to have some shows for the release, but the shows have to be good enough, and they have to support the release. We did that in the past where, oh my God, March 17th the release is coming out, and then we just put a bunch of shows around it so the release could come out. And so we're gonna try to be be a little bit smart in what we do. And I know Bill that has a plan for all that. And I've been so out of the loop with him. I even hit him up today and I said, dude, you got to call me so I'll know what the plan is. And but yeah, so video for the single for sure. That's going to be the first thing to come out. And then the single will hit radios and downloads and iTunes and all that good stuff. And then definitely a tour to support it. Most definitely. I'm going to say the big tour is probably going to be July sometime, but we're definitely going to come out and see everybody and support, release in May and June. So.
All of that sounds great. So that's my last question here. So what final words would you like to say to our listeners?
Check us out on Facebook, NewMachine Music. Check us out, like us. If you don't like us, go out and support another band. And if you don't want to buy our stuff, buy their stuff. This is all how we make a living and strengthen numbers. And, if you don't support us, just, support somebody else in the music business. And check us out for all our dates. And we'll be releasing some videos, some here and there of maybe some clips of some songs. So, and support you guys as well.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for the
Awesome.
interview and the time. It's been fun.
You're welcome. Thank you.